Hey guys, my name is Zach Walden. I'm the founder of ZB SEO. We are a Shopify SEO studio that helps 6, 7, and 8-figure e-commerce brands grow their organic revenue with SEO. Today, I wanted to talk about Gymshark and their absolute masterclass of SEO. Now, unfortunately, my face is not going to show on Gymshark's website, but that's okay. We'll go back and forth. So, first of all, I wanted to show here. This is a little collection and product page checklist that I've created. Now, when it comes to optimizing your on-page elements, I'm going to look at the collection pages here mainly, because this is where majority of traffic goes. And so the main thing that I'm looking for in a website, and what the first thing I'm going to change, is just make sure that first of all, each collection has a specific keyword that it's targeting. And then we create more and more collections based on your user's search search queries, I should say. And so once we've identified that, then each collection page, we're going to make sure that it has an optimized meta title and description, URL slug, the H1, make sure that the keyword's in the first sentence of the page. And then we have more content at the bottom of the page, as well as maybe some FAQs to make sure that it is optimized on page. Now, this is one element. There's also the technical side, the off-page side, but in terms of actually just making your page clean, this is something that anyone can do. You can do it in your back end. It's not that difficult. Once you've identified each page, then each page's keyword, you just need to go through and kind of optimize the on-page content and make sure that you write it so it actually helps a user and helps a search engine find that page. So I wanted to show you how Gymshark have done that. But first of all, I wanted to show you their stats. So we can see here that obviously they've got a very high DR. Now, if you're new to SEO statistics, basically this is an authority ranking out of 100. So the higher the number, the more authority a website has, which is basically just a metric, third-party metric that SEO tools like Ahrefs create. But what it gives us is an indication as to how much trust the website has within Google. And so the higher the number, then the more authority it has, the more traffic it's eventually going to get. Now, this can be manufactured, but from legit websites like Gymshark, 79 is up there with one of the top, it's in the top 16,000 of all websites in the world, which is pretty crazy. So you can see they've got plenty of backlinks, obviously, but what I'm looking at is their traffic. You can see over the last 2 years, we've got, they've gone from 92,000 in April and they're up to 220,000. Now, this is only for Australia for their Gymshark Australia website. I think there's still some statistics here from their actual website. But you can see here, first of all, what pages, so we've gone into their top pages. We want to see what pages are getting the most people to their website each month. And so you can see the first one is a blog article. Now, how much is that going to actually convert? Not sure, but it's going to do well for them by using it as a source for backlinks and also for internal links. So we can have a look at that in a second. But we can see here, there's a lot of collection pages as well. So we've got pages and collections here, more collections. And so we're going to dive into that and how they've optimized their website for their collection pages. And so if I go into their website, as I said, excuse my face not showing on here, but what I want to do is go to, I always like to look at their hoodies one. So we can see in their products, they've got all their main collections up here. So if I go to hoodies and sweatshirts, then we can see they've optimized their page exactly as I've kind of set out here. So as I said, first thing we're looking at is they've got clean meta title and description. We'll look at that. They've got clean URL slug. Their H1 is their target their target keyword is within their H1, which is their title of the page. They've also then got the content at the top of the page with their keyword in the first sentence, as well as internal links and more content at the bottom. So let's look at that. So you may not be able to see it, but their collection, their URL is collections/hoodies/men's. Nice and clean. It's not anything too long and frustrating for users to understand what's on the page, but also for search engines. You can see they've got hoodies and sweatshirts as their H1. They've got content at the top, and you can see they've got men's, gyms, hoodies, and sweatshirts. So again, they've incorporated their keyword, and then they've got internal links to very relevant keywords, very relevant collections as well. So we'll look into that as well. But then if we scroll down, sorry, this is in the way. Scroll down to the bottom, they've got all their pages here. They've then got all this SEO optimized text written here as well, with internal links to different products as well. Now, all of this stuff is what you need to optimize your website for Google, from an on-page perspective, that is. Because what it does is not only does it allow Google to understand and crawl your site, so basically when Google enters a site, let's say, they will follow all the links on that page. So by having all these internal links to other websites, you're passing on Google's kind of authority to all these other pages. And so by having internal links to relevant pages, not just linking them anywhere, but very relevant pages, as you saw in here, they've gone, you can style it with these type of things, but at the top of a page is where all your important links should be. You've got zip up hoodies, oversized hoodies, men's running hoodies. So they've done that and they've optimized each internal link at the top of the page. So then Google knows it's relevant. It will go and have a look at that page as well, and make sure that that page is put within the search results. And so what they've done is they've just optimized every single page correctly, but they've also created a bunch of pages for very relevant things, very relevant different search queries. So if we have a look at this again, if we can go to men's running hoodies. Okay, there's only actually one product in here. This will be an interesting one to have a look at. But let's see if this one has much going on. If I look at the URL, okay, only 6 people to this one, so that's probably not the best example. Let's go back. Now it's not surprising there's one thing. Let's go oversized hoodies. Now, I personally like an oversized hoodie. It's what I'm wearing right now. But we can see here they've got lots of content. They've got more content at the bottom. They've internally linked it. And let's have a look at oversized hoodies. Does this bring in much traffic to their site? Let's look at that, 156 people a month coming to their website. Now you may see that number and think, oh, that's not much. But if you do this, multiply it by even just 10 pages, that's 1,500 people a month times 20, 30, 50 pages, then you're getting thousands of people a month to very specific pages. Because if we look at the keywords that this page is ranking for, you can see it's a baggy hoodie, it's a men's oversized hoodie, oversized gym hoodie, oversized black hoodie. Like, there's hundreds of people searching for these keywords every month. And if someone ends up on this page, they're going to be much more relevant to that page based on what they're searching, compared to if they ended up on just a hoodies page and they have to search through it. So again, don't be disheartened by only 100 people a month going to that page, because you multiply that, as I said, by 10, even hundreds of pages, then you're getting, evidently 100,000 people to your website, as Gymshark is doing here, 172,000 to their AU subdomain, just based on the fact that they've got all these different collections for all these specific keywords. Now, this is something that I see a lot of brands not do. And for example, so the brand I'm wearing now, Elite 11, sorry to call you out, but if you want to hire me to do this for you, I can. If we have a look at Elite 11's site, they haven't necessarily done this. If we go to their hoodies and collections, first of all, you can see there's no kind of text at the top of the page. We've got this 102, which is, I'm assuming the amount of products probably, or something like that. But you can see as well, there's nothing at the bottom. So there's actually not much content on this page. And then further to that, they don't have these sub collections. They don't have an oversized hoodie collection. They don't have a zip up hoodie collection, at least not that I can find. So if they do, they haven't then linked to it correctly. And if we have a look at Elite 11's data, we can see, obviously they've got a much lower DR. They're a much newer brand. So that's going to play into it. However, they're not optimizing their site correctly, or as well as they could. And as a result, they're getting 62,000 people to their AU, to their website. And so again, we can go into there, you can see their collections are getting the most things, but they're missing out on all this opportunity to get, people looking for oversized hoodie or things like that, because they don't have those collections set up. And so, as I said, this is something that I see in a lot of e-commerce brands, regardless of the niche, is just not optimizing your collection pages and not setting up all these extra collection pages based on what people are searching for. So it's a very easy win. As I said, you can just follow this checklist in terms of where to put things on the page, in terms of keywords and that kind of stuff. And as a result, you can potentially get hundreds of thousands of people to your site, because you've actually set up your page in a way that is optimized for it. And so finally, my face will probably disappear again, but this is the blog that was getting lots of traffic on Gymshark's website, which I wanted to have a look at. So I'll make another video on this in terms of how to use blogs for e-commerce, but you can see here what they're doing is Oh, that's just linking to themselves. But I'm assuming they've probably got links to different products here. No more blogs. I wonder if they are internally linking, so we'll have a look at that. But as I said, I'll deep dive into that into another video. So if you want to have a look at that, then check out my channel, and I'll talk about blog writing and just blogs when it comes to e-commerce, because they are, I don't want to say they're dying, because they're definitely not, but the way that you should approach them is definitely changed because of ChatGPT, because of AI. So yeah, if you want to look out for that video on my channel, I'll make that one soon. But hopefully this was useful. It was a bit of a quick one. I just want to talk about, like I said, how you can optimize your website from collection pages, how Gymshark does it, and why they have grown to a $1.5 billion brand, because they've optimized their site in a way that not only gets people in, but then helps people shop. And that's the main thing that we're trying to do here, is make more money through your collection pages. So hopefully that was useful. If you want anything specific, let me know in the comments and I'll make a video about it. And I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.